Welcome to this week's session with the Putnam County District Library and the Guiding Ohio Online Grant. This week we're going to be looking at one of the tabs that you use when it comes to mailings and setting up letters and information that you want to try and use, and like an Excel sheet that you might have a group of groups of information that you want to send out. So what I've done is I have, prior to this, prepared a letter just as an example. So I'm going to pull that across, and what you'll see here is just kind of a fictitious letter that I've made up. But notice it has a recipient's name, street address, and so forth. So like I said, we're looking at this tab here that is clear across the top, and we're going to go to mailings. And when I go to mailings, what will happen is you'll see that I have different options. So I can create an envelope, and if I click on create an envelope, it's going to come up and it's going to show me the envelope, and this is where I can go in and adjust sizing accordingly. I can do the same thing. I can do a letter, or I should say, a label. So I can create different labels. Again, I can change the fonts, I can change the size. So if I would click here on options, I would have the different types of label sizes to pick from. And then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to undo it, just, let's see, don't save. And I'm going to go then to start mail merge. And if I do a start mail merge, what it's going to ask me here is it's going to ask if I would like to do a letter, an email, an envelope, labels, directory, etc. Like I said, for the sake of an example, I'm going to show you with a letter. So if I were to click here on letters, notice it comes up, select your recipients for your mail merge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here on the next tab. I'm just going to go across my tabs here. So if I click on select my recipients, I can create a new list or use an existing list, or if I have all my contacts entered into my computer in Outlook or even in Apple or FileMaker. So some people, like if you were going to do something where maybe you have all of your contacts saved into your computer, this is an easy way to access all of that. But I'm going to use an existing list, because what I've done is beforehand I had prepared a list. I'm going to, just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to pull that across as well so you can see here's my list that I had made up. So I am going to need to search to find my list. And this list is actually currently on my desktop. That's where it's located at. So I need to go to my desktop and find my mailing list. What did I call that list? Let's go back and look here again real quick. I called that list letter merge data. So I need to find that. Actually, I think it might be in my downloads. Letter merge data. Notice my Excel symbol here. So I'm going to click on that, say open. So now it's going to tell me, are you sure you want to use this? I'm going to say, yep, convert it. That's the file I want to use. Have to wait for a minute while it does its thing there in the background. And then I'm going to say, yep, I want to use the entire sheet. Say, okay. Then I'm at the point where I need to select my recipients, or I'm going to filter. So what I want to do is I want to click on, I can click on my filter recipients if I had anything that I would want to change, which I do not. I'm going to say cancel, and then I'm going to go to my insert merge field. Now I have in here recipient's name. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on insert merge field, and it's going to, these are the different columns. If you had noticed on my Excel file that I had pulled out, pull it back across again, I have first name, last name, address, city, state, zip. One thing that is kind of good to keep in mind is when you're doing anything with a merge and using an Excel file, it is helpful if you separate out the first and last name. A lot of times you might, if you have those grouped together, it can get a little bit messy and it's harder to work with. So if you can separate those out, that can be helpful. So I'm going to go back here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here where it says recipient's name, and I'm going to highlight this, and I'm actually going to delete it because that's where I'm going to add it in. And I'm going to go back here to insert field, and I'm going to say insert first name. Notice what happens. I've got my little carrots here. I'm going to put a space, so it puts a space into my document. And then I'm going to go to insert. I'm going to insert last name. I'm going to hit return. And then here, I'm going to highlight street address, delete it out, and I'm going to insert address. Hit return, same thing. I'm going to delete out the city, state, zip code, delete those out, and I'm going to add the same thing. I'm going to add address, I'm going to add city, and I'm going to do the comma that I would want in with a space. I'm going to do state, space, and I'm going to do zip code. So I'm going to hit return. And then the same thing here. Notice where I have dear recipient's name. I'm going to highlight out recipient's name because that's not what I want to say. I wanted to say the actual person's name. Delete that out. Same thing. I'm going to hit space. I'm going to insert first name, space. I'm going to insert last name. So now I've got a letter created, and it's going to put the information in that's coming from my Excel sheet. So again, I'm going to pull that up one more time so that you can see. First name here, Sally Brown, and I've got Sue Smith, so forth. So I'm going to go here to preview results. And when I click on preview results, notice what I see, Sally Brown, all the information. And then I can flip through and I can go through each one of these. And that is going to put in all of my information for every single person that I have in my Excel sheet. And then simply all I will do at the end here is I will go finish and merge. And then what happens is I have the option that I can print, and I could edit an individual one, or I can print my entire document, or I can merge it to an email that I might want to send out to individuals. So that is the basics of how to do mailings within Word. And obviously, I showed you how to then be able to use an Excel file to grab that information and merge that in. You would do the same type of steps if you were doing envelopes or labels as well. And like I said, you can always change the size of your labels and your envelopes that you might have there. So that's this week's session from the library on Word and how to do mail merge. Look forward to seeing you next week.